This week on the podcast, we have Annette from Miss T's Social Studies, and her story is so fun and really inspirational because she actually started on TPT over 4 years ago, created a couple of products that she had created for her classroom, uploaded them to TPT, and then forgot about it and didn't do anything with her store for 4 years until one day she realized, oh, wait a second, I have like $150 sitting in my account. And from there, she decided to start to take her business really seriously. And she began to invest in her business. And within 3.5 months, she started earning four figures a month. And her story is so fun, so inspirational. And honestly, one of the reasons why I love it so much is because it's so attainable. She didn't do anything crazy. She made very simple choices and strategic choices within her business that led to success. And I cannot wait for you guys to meet Annette. Hey, Annette, how are you?
Good, Lauren. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so excited to chat with you today. You have a really neat story, and I'm excited for listeners to hear your story. If you want to start by just telling us a little bit about yourself, your TPT journey, and kind of what led you to start selling on TPT.
Sure. So I opened up my store back in 2017. I literally uploaded just three things, one of them being the free product. And then I kind of got discouraged because I saw everyone having all these beautiful covers and descriptions, and I had no idea how to do it. And instead of actually pushing and learning, I just kind of gave up. But in my defense, I was getting married the following year. So I was prepping. And for like the next 4 years, I completely forgot about my TPT account. And then last year, January, I started getting emails. Oh, you sold the product. And I was just like, whoa, this is interesting. And at that point, we had another baby. We just bought a car. We renovated the house. So I had like a lot of financial expenses. And we live in Northern Jersey, right outside of New York City. So it's super expensive by us. So I was actually thinking of maybe picking up another job, quitting my job because we all know teaching salary can pay a lot. So I kind of just like let that slide. And then I think by March, again, I started getting more and more notifications. And I'm like, okay, this is really interesting. So I finally logged into my TPT account and it's not much, but when I saw that I had over $150 in that account from literally not doing anything, completely forgetting about it, having a free account with TPT, which, they take all of the commission from,
Yeah.
when I got that sense of what passive income really is, finally the understanding of it, I was just like, I think this might be something. So I talked to my husband. I'm like, listen, maybe I'll try this. Like, we'll see how it goes. So from March up until May, I YouTube everything you can imagine. First thing, of course, was how to make, covers. And then I joined podcasts and Facebook groups just to like learn as much as I can. And then in May, right before Memorial Day weekend, I finally bought a premium plan. I started uploading my products and it's been great. It's fun.
I love it. What happened when you made that switch from January to May? What kind of change did you see? Because you said you had like $150 sitting in your account from basically products that you had posted for that had been there for 4 years and just kind of sitting on the store shelves. What happened after that hustle started from January to May? Was it an immediate increase in revenue? Was it like a slow and steady? Like, what did that look like?
So the little notification from the three products I had kept on coming in slowly. And then I haven't really uploaded anything new up until I kind of had a good grasp of what I really have to do. So I posted actually my first products I started posting were things I was doing in my classroom. But then I believe right after I opened the store, right after Memorial Day weekend, I learned about something called SEO. And I knew that in order for me to really break through the market, although I'm social studies, so it's not as saturated as elementary, I had to do something that people will get, like people will find. So I typed into search, what's popular and end of the year activities came up. So what I ended up doing is I made end of the year social studies activities, like little reviews, virtual field trips. And honestly, like over the summer, again, it wasn't much, but making $50 and $70 for those 2 months where I had no idea what I was still doing. Uh, I didn't have a following, and maybe I had like 12 people. And from then, it just started growing because I guess that I figured out that I have to do seasonal things aside from my social studies as well. So yeah, it started like picking up a little bit after that. And then by August, the theme everywhere I went. If I was in a podcast, I went on YouTube, Facebook group, back to school season is coming back. And I was like, yep, I got to make a back to school season activity. And I did. I made an escape room because for some reason, escape rooms were very popular last year, especially when you typed it into search. And honestly, that product like really like took off for me. So I figured I got to make seasonal activities. And that's how I knew I kind of figured out what was working for me from the very.
So you kind of pivoted to creating these seasonal resources
Yep.
for specific times of the year, which is really interesting because right now in RTA, that's actually what we're doing in the month of September. As I'm recording this podcast, I'm not sure when it's going to air, probably when September's over, but we're literally just making seasonal resources right now because they can have such a significant impact on your business. Because like what you said before is you sat down and you said, okay, people have to be able to find my products. And where is my opportunity to stand out here? And it's with these seasonal items. That's where my opportunity is to stand out. And that honestly, for a lot of people, particularly newer sellers, there's usually less saturation
Yeah.
in those holidays or niche, seasonal resources. Work is usually a little less saturated, a little less competition, and there's more opportunity to get found. So
Oh yeah, definitely. And one of the things that people say, well, what really like helped your store? And for me, it was finding out what sells. And I knew those seasonal activities was selling. The only thing what I made different after back to school is my end of the year activity and back to school were completely different. But then when Halloween came around, I wanted to actually make something for my student, and I love using maps. And I went on TPT and like honestly, I got a little like discouraged and like a little angry because I couldn't find anything that I needed. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to make my own. So I used Google My Maps, which is like an app on your Google account. It's not Google Maps, it's Google My Maps, which is great for teachers to edit things. And I did like a around the world Halloween activity where actually my students added in their own tradition. And then I put that on TPT and that really like also took off. And then since I already had a template and I know that's something that you also mentioned before in your podcast. Have a template and then use different activities with it. Or so that's what I did. I made an escape room and I made a scavenger hunt. And honestly, just between those two, October up until actually just August was my highest month. And between just those two activities, I made over $1,000 just for that month.
I
And
love
lately in the groups, like you said, I've been seeing that people are saying, my numbers are down, my sales are down, my views, August is my best paying month, but it doesn't have to be because there's other seasons. And that's why I feel like I'm such a big proponent of make a season activity. I don't care if you teach speech. I don't care if you teach science. Put like a little ghost on there or, make a little trivia or little maze, whatever it is, because I did that for Halloween. And guess what I did for Thanksgiving? I did the same thing. I used the same template. I just changed out the content, changed out the pictures. I did the same thing for Christmas, so on and so forth. And every single season has been great. And those are just basically the one set of activities that really helped me out because then I figured out to make something else actually just strictly for social studies. And that also picked up. So, but I'm a really huge proponent of seasonal activities because they really do work. And like you said, if you're in like, especially elementary, it's so saturated that that really does, make you stick out a little bit more. And it's not as difficult to be found.
I love that. I'm going to ask you a question that was actually asked to me when we were talking about creating seasonal resources in RTA. And that was a lot of people had the question of how do I know what content? Because obviously I'm creating a niche specific, seasonal resource. And in your case, like a social studies Halloween resource, for example, how do you know what content to put in there when teachers teach topics in different orders? Like, how do you decide what content to put in there so that it's relevant to as many teachers as possible?
You know what? That's hard because especially when I have no grasp of elementary teaching whatsoever. I don't really do QT things, but I do know that reading definitely because my activities, I had to do a lot of modifications because a lot of students I have IEPs. So I do, even though the activities are social studies based, they're still reading. So they read, I allow the teachers to modify and differentiate right on the slides so they can make the font bigger, smaller. But I feel like reading and math are definitely something that I would push for. when it comes to like content based, because those are the things that a lot of teachers look for. And even the seller you had on last week, because I listened to all of the podcasts, she was reading and phonics, I believe, and I know that's like a big market also. So I feel like for an elementary teacher, reading and math would definitely be something that I would definitely add as a seasonal for a seasonal product.
For sure. And I like the fact that you were talking about, with your history of where your social studies resources, there's a lot of reading involved. So all the content that they would need to know in order to complete the activity is already embedded inside of the resource, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
they don't need any prior understanding. So that's one way to think about it in terms of even if it's a science resource or something else where you're wanting to introduce new content, just making sure that the content is embedded within the activity so the students don't have to have any prior knowledge in order to participate. And I know one thing for math that I do, because obviously you can't really, it's hard to teach a math lesson right within an escape room or something like that. But one of the things that I also do is just think about things that all teachers have taught by that point in time.
Mhm.
The students still need to review. So, like for me, it's solving equations, right? Like everybody in eighth grade in Algebra 1, they've already encountered solving equations. This is a review skill for them, but it's something they do need to review. And so sometimes putting content in that is going to be a review can be really helpful as well. But I love what you said about making sure that that content is embedded inside of the resource.
Yeah, and especially like I said, if you have classes like me where you have to modify, and I always try to make modifications available for the teachers because you really don't know what student you're going to get. I have ESL students, I have students who literally like in high school who have a very difficult time of reading, then I have students who excel in reading. So those are actually also all of my products do have those options because that is that one specific buyer that I'm looking for. Also, someone that will come and be like, wow, like she has everything. Like I can modify, she has comprehension and it's social studies. Yep.
Absolutely. Let's talk about struggles and hurdles in your business because obviously you created resources and you went a really long time without doing anything. And then you came back at it full force and you're like, I'm going to make a goal of this. And quickly got to where you were making four figures a month from, maybe 10, 20, $30 a month to four figures. What was your biggest hurdle in that transition from, okay, I've just kind of been casually posting stuff or I casually posted something in the past to this is going to be a business?
So my first thing was just my mindset. When I started this, I'm like, it wasn't, oh, I'm going to make her happy, plus you think. I was like, no. I guess the type D personality slash pre-love slash OCD person that I am, it helped me to really push through, this is a business. I want to make it a business. Maybe eventually I can quit my job and do this. But obviously figuring out what you want to post. But like I said earlier, for some reason it just clicked with me and I figured out that dirty added seasonal resources was something that will help me. But my next hurdle was just the time. I mean, any parent can relate. I have two little ones. My son, he's actually high functioning autistic, so it does make things a little bit harder at home. But just finding the time to make the resources and just, running everything else. That's why I don't market. I don't have an email list. I literally just do SEO, product creation, quality. I listen to everything that I can. So, like I said, I listen to your podcast like every single week and, watch YouTube videos still, try to join groups if I can. And that's what's really been helping me. But I'm not going to say it's easy because there really was so much work. I mean, by October last year, I was burnt out. And my husband was also working away for a little bit. So it was just a lot. But I'm so happy that I sacrificed that time because now I'm able to, say, you know what, on weekends like today, I'm like, I'm just going to hang out with the kids because I'm still making money, where I couldn't say that last year because I wanted to push my business forward. So the time definitely is the biggest struggle for me, even now. However, I do have to say, I finally hired out a VA and it was probably after one of your podcasts. And I forgot I know the girl, she teaches guitar lessons. I forgot her name. And after that podcast, I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to hire a VA. And actually, it really does help. And if you have the opportunity, just do it. Definitely do it. It helps out a lot.
Absolutely. And that podcast episode for anyone listening was with Katie Geddes on, yes, teaching health school. And yeah, she's incredible. So what's been the biggest game changer for you? You just mentioned one of the game changers, which was hiring a VA. What's
Yes.
been one of your kind of big game changers?
So it really was just figuring out ourselves. I feel like that was like the biggest one. And then I was saying what everyone else says, make sure you have quality products. Make sure you have the great previews. Make sure you have the descriptions. Make sure you have optimized SEO. And, the teacher speakers groups and I'm happy to share my story with anyone who wants to look at it. So I actually do have people who will message me, hey, can I take a look? And I'm like, no problem. I'm like, take ideas. Just obviously don't copy everything I have, but learn, do some market research because I feel like we've all done that at some point. Sometimes I even see, I go in and see, okay, well, they don't have this. Or, the other thing that helped me out is making interactive games on Google Slides, which was something that I remember you also said, how to look what's in demand. And apparently that's very high in demand, but no one else makes it except for me. But I still need to work on my SEO. I know I'm slacking a little bit and I have to just make more products when it comes to that. But
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Tell us a little bit about your work routine because are you still in the classroom?
yes, I'm still full time teaching. We actually just went back in last week. It was my first.
Oh, wow.
So it's a lot. I mean, I'm a high school teacher now, so it's I have a handful, 6 classes, but for some reason, I just am able to manage time very well when it comes to TPT. I think because like I love it so much that I'm really trying to make everything work around it. So over the summer, my son is in the ABA program, which helped out a lot. I was dropping off my baby 2 days for the babysitters. So that helped. I was able to, get stuff done, work, talk to my VA, discuss what we're going to basically work on. Whenever I have time at work, even during lunch, like I just sit in my room and I work on PPT because I just honestly prefer that over gossip. So, and I usually work when my kids go to sleep. And I, in the past, not so much now, but I've worked until like very well past midnight. So I was able to at least get in like a 3 to 3.5 solid hours of just me working on it.
Yeah. So a lot of work, but obviously, like you said, TPT is a priority for you right now.
Yes.
And it's something that you're really enjoying. And I think
Oh,
there's that, yeah, there's that like really nice honeymoon phase. And for some people, it never goes away. For some of us, it does. And there's that really nice honeymoon phase where you're just like, oh my gosh, I love this so much. And I knew that for me, when I was still in the classroom, and TPT was just kind of like an escape. It was like an outlet. It was something that I could do that I enjoyed and had full control over. And I really
yeah.
enjoyed it. Yeah. So you're fitting TPT in at night. And then I love how you said over the summer that you had a babysitter 2 days a week to help take care of your kids so you could focus on TPT a little bit more, which I think is something that, you know, when we think about hiring help, a lot of times we think about hiring the VA or, hiring somebody to create our covers or do our previews or do whatever with TBT. But a lot of times hiring somebody to help at home
Oh, yeah.
can be so much more beneficial. Like I can knock out so much more in an hour than a VA can normally, and having somebody to watch your kids, when Blair was first born, we had a nanny for a little while, for almost 2 years, which was really helpful until she got older and her naps were a little bit better, that kind of thing. But then now we have somebody who comes a few days a week and does my dishes and sweeps the floor and like cleans everything up so that I'm able to focus on my business guilt free. And just having somebody to come and do those things inside of your house can also be a really massive life improvement when it comes to your TPT business. It could be a
Oh,
huge.
listen, I completely get it. So I literally told my husband, I'm like, if I hit what I want to hit, because, and I'm pretty sure I will by the end of the year. Actually, I'm not going to make until the end of the year. I'm going to probably cut it like next month. I am hiring a cleaning lady for my house because it's just taking up so much time for me. And I'm like, just like vacuuming. And then the kids always make a mess or there's always dishes. Like, and I'm like, I can't do this. I'm like, I will hire someone. And then that extra, like even just a piece of mind coming to a clean house for like little, just 15 minutes after work before the kids make a mess is just such a huge like difference and so much help. So yes, you are completely right. I completely agree.
Absolutely. And sometimes it's cheaper too. Like a VA can be 30, 40, $50 an hour.
Yeah.
Whereas, hiring the college student to come over and be a mother's helper for a couple, that's $20 an hour,
Oh,
so
yeah, and they're happy with
kind
it.
of like,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. If you could only do three things for your business, what three things would you choose? So I love that you've already mentioned like marketing is not one of them for you right now.
I
So
mean,
I love,
it's not, yeah, it's not, but after what happened last year with that personalized search and everyone saying, you have a marketing list, email marketing list, then you'll have your own audience and it's just easier for you to reach people. And then I actually literally like before we had this conversation, I was telling my husband, I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to actually hit my first milestone by the end of the year. And I told him, I'm like, if I do that, I'm hiring out someone to make me an email list, set it up for me, make me a landing page. I'm not even going to do it because, and again, I know it's definitely your podcast because, like I said, I listen to them all the time. You said that why would I make a website when I'm going to use it that one time to set it up? Why would I spend so much time and effort doing it when I can just hire someone that will do it for me? And from a business perspective, I know that I'm making money every month and it's extra money and I'm reinvesting the money back into my business. So I was able to hire up a VA and I'm giving her like actually a lot of project and I'm completely fine with that. She's great. And like, I love her. We click. And I'm fine with hiring someone out for my email list because I know the money's going to come back, and I feel like right now, that's where I want to focus. I've been really dreading it, and I don't even know why. I like talking to people. Like, I don't know what it is. I think it's just finally committing and, sitting down and like, okay, I have to prep what am I going to send? What email am I going to send? How often am I going to send it? And with my kids, I can't do that. Things change literally every single minute. So definitely hiring a VA this year to help me out with that. But the other things are definitely just continue with the SEO. Actually, I gotta go back, fix up a lot of my SEO, fix up few of my very old, well, last year's products that I have to change up the previews, change the description, use my templates I have now, which are great. And I think that's it. Those are the only things that will really stick with the SEO, making sure you have quality products, previews, descriptions, covers, downs, and eventually my email marketing list.
Yeah. So what would you leave behind? What are you doing right now that like if you had to limit it to three things that you'd say, I'm taking that out. Like I'm just gonna do away with this.
So actually, maybe some of the product creation I already have templates for because that's something that my VA is already doing. I taught her, I showed it to her, and now I just kind of like let it go. So I think that actually, even with my seasonal products, that's something I would like let go. I just need to make sure that it's polished when she sends it back. And definitely, I'm letting go of the previews, the thumbs. She has everything, and she's just making it for me because they
Yeah.
so much. And
I
time
love
I
it.
don't have.
I love that. Let's do some fun questions, if that's all right with you. Yeah.
It's fine.
What's your favorite podcast? I mean, obviously, besides my, no, I'm totally kidding. But like favorite podcast. It could be like a fun podcast, a business podcast, something not TPT related, like any podcast.
So believe it or not, but before I actually started TPT, I was literally like manifesting that I want my own business, have my own schedule. And I was actually thinking of going back to nutrition school. I'm really big on health. After my son, I had to make a lot of changes. I started reading a lot of books. So health podcasts, there's the natural, right? I don't even remember the names, but few of the health doctors I follow, Dr. Hyman. And then I started just recently just listening to like our business podcaster, Amy Porterfield.
Yeah,
She was a big
absolutely.
one. Yep. And honestly, I don't really listen to anything fun, just like business because this is fun for me. I had someone actually once on Facebook ask, what do you do for your personal time? How do you spend it? I'm like, I make TPT products. I'm like, that's it. Like, and I love it.
I love that. So that probably answers like my next two questions, but I'm going to
I
ask
was
them.
sorry.
Other than TPT, what do you do to relax? What's your favorite way to relax?
You know what? I do like to read whenever I have a second.
Yeah.
And you know what? Just going outside on my porch and just like having a sip of coffee. Like coffee is like my weakness right now. And it just anytime when I just have my little coffee just makes me like relax. Even if the kids are running around driving me crazy, it just does something that, I yeah, I just love
Yeah.
coffee.
Love it. Favorite show to binge watch?
The office.
The Office? Yeah. All right. That's
The
one of those
office.
classics.
Yeah.
Like it just never goes out. You can kind of just keep watching it.
Oh yeah. Yep. I watched it already twice and I would do it again if I had the time.
So you're handed a gift card to your favorite restaurant. Where are you going and what are you ordering?
Interesting. I love food. Me and my husband like love food. So I don't know if that would be one that I would choose, but I I don't know if it would be a specific restaurant, but the type of food would definitely be something Mediterranean, Turkish, Lebanese. Persian, something along those lines. And what I would order, some kind of like grilled mix of like seafood and meat.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. What's next for you and your business, Annette?
So I mean, I actually have a lot of plans for myself. I just will have the time, but eventually I would love to make my own website and make a membership. Like a membership or subscription, something like that. I'm writing things down all the time. I still need to put more products into my TPT store, build up my email list, because from then on, then I can finally branch out, because I do want to branch out and finally quit my.
I love that. I love that. Well, thanks so much for being here. Where can listeners find you if they want to connect with you?
Honestly, I just have my TPT store, so it's Miss T Social Studies. If anyone's interested, they can send me an email, mistsocialstudies@gmail.com. I'm also on Facebook, but you can just find me in the groups, and that's basically it. Yeah, up until
I
I
love
get
it.
my email list. So
I love it. We'll drop your links down inside of the description
thank
for
you.
anyone to check out your store. Thanks so much for being here. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and thank you for sharing your story with everyone.
No, thank you so much, Lauren, and have a great weekend as well.
If you guys want to connect with Annette, you can find a link to her TPT store down inside of the description. Or you can email her, like she said, at Miss T's Social Studies. Thanks so much for being here. If you want to get on the wait list to join RTA, now is the time. You can go to the rebrandedteacher.com and join the wait list to make sure that you don't miss that small window of time where RTA is going to be opening again. Every single month, you get monthly strategy sessions and challenges to help you grow your TPT business. So, as I mentioned in this podcast this week, our members are focusing on implementing SEO strategies and analyzing data for seasonal resources from previous years and creating new seasonal resources for their store. And they get to choose which tasks they want to work on this month to be a part of the challenge. At the end of the month, we draw names for those who participated in the challenge. We give out prizes. It's lots of fun. There are co working sessions along the way, audits, and so much more. Plus, a library of resources to help you get the information and knowledge that you need at any point in time. Again, you can go to therebrandedteacher.com to get on the wait list. Thanks so much for being here, and I will see you right back here next week.